County Administrative Office and the Kern County Firefighters Association have not been able to agree on a 2-year contract after the two sides failed to agree on how to cut overtime spending.
The Firefighters Association voting against the county's offer last night, an offer that would have cut OT spending by the department by more than $3 million. 23 ABC's Leslie Gooden explaining where both sides stand now and if they can still come to an agreement. Leslie?
That's right. The county wants to cut down firefighters on their overtime spending by $3.4 million a year. I spoke with both the county and the president of the Kern County Firefighters Association. Right now, the two sides seem very far from being able to find an agreement.
The changes that we're looking for that would bring us more in alignment with the federal requirements are that we would only calculate overtime based on actual hours worked.
Megan Pearson, Director of Countywide Communications for Kern County, says that negotiations for this agreement has been in the works since 2017.
County is asking for some changes to the overtime calculation, some reform in the overtime calculation that the fire department is using. And it would end up saving the county $3.4 million annually.
David Nelson, president of Kern County Firefighters Association, says that the reason why they're unable to agree to these terms is because of the financial impact this would have on the firefighters.
A group of individuals who haven't had a cost of living increase or even a raise in the last 11 years, they do use a little bit of the overtime that they get for that living. You've had inflation that's outpaced our wage.
Nelson shares that the two parties are now in deadlock and will require a third-party mediator to reach an agreement.
We're kind of excited over the fact that we'll get an independent review of the information that's been provided on both sides.
If they are still unable to reach an agreement, the Board of Supervisors has the option to impose the county's current offer, which the union has already passed on.
It keeps us from having to make overall staffing changes and any changes to stations. We're in a structural deficit. The fire fund is looking at a $9 million structural deficit.
Pearson also says that staffing isn't the problem.
We're not understaffed in the fire department, so it's not necessarily an issue of not having enough people.
But Nelson says otherwise.
We don't really have an overtime issue, we have a staffing issue. If we were to hire the positions that were vacant, address employee retention to keep those individuals employed within the county, then we wouldn't have the vacancies open to create the overtime positions.
The county says it will officially request a declaration of impasse from the Board of Supervisors on May 21st. Live in studio, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC, connecting you.
One woman is